Anyone with a cat knows that it's feline policy to slaughter anything of the same size or smaller in stature, and still have a go at anything bigger, before running off to have a shit in someone else's garden. Gori, Cuddly Carnage recognises well a cat's propensity for violence, and it invites you into a terrifying future where they've also learned to ride foul-mouthed hoverboards to assist them in cutting everything into bits. What we have here is a very fast-paced third-person beat-em-up with regular, largely smooth platforming sections joining up all the battles. The story is suitably bonkers. Gori was a prototype toy who escaped his creators before he could be permanently discontinued. He now finds himself up against the adorable army, a horde of also former toys that have morphed into zombie-like mutations and killed everything on Earth that wasn't deemed cute or cuddly enough to join their ranks. Joining Gori and working as the main narrator for his largely mute furry friend is the aforementioned gobby hoverboard Frank, along with their disaffected AI companion Chip, whose morose and understated outlook on everything reminded me of Marvin the android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. From the off, the tone is a lot more adult than the cutesy graphics would initially suggest. Frank, who seems to be struggling with something of a personality disorder, cannot stop swearing, and you soon get into the over-the-top gore this game is largely selling itself on. In fact, the game has so much gore it's already been part censored pre-release in Japan. Gori attacks by swinging Frank around in different moves, with a lot more unlocked as you progress, and the feedback as you wade into great piles of hapless unicorns feels great. Blood splashes up the screen as little limbs fly in all directions, and you can complete finishing moves on staggered enemies to replenish your health, in addition to cracking open vending machines which will provide you with life-restoring energy drinks. Certain other objects like cars can also be sliced open to find energy for Frank and his moves, or cash to help you accelerate through the upgrades at certain stations in the world. The movement is especially enjoyable in the game. You can Tony Hawk along the colourful rails, double jump and slide along walls before slamming down into a group of enemies. The frame rate holds up very well, even when you're pulping entire rooms full of mental unicorns, and the camera and lock-on targeting, activated with the now traditional click of the right stick, also behave themselves more often than not. In addition to the story, there's the obligatory room-clearing survival mode, pitting you against wave after wave of enemies. But these arena fights currently lack any modifiers to keep them interesting, the kind of juicy power-ups we see in Streets of Rage 4 or Turtles Shredder's Revenge for example, and I'm not sure that many people will stick around for long as things stand. Gori Cuddly Carnage isn't going to be the longest game, and it's clearly very linear. As good as they all look, there's apparently very little to seek out in the levels, but for many, avoiding the kind of collectathon for pointless tat that a lot of third-person games have become will actually be a relief, I'm sure. And while I can see some of the mechanics becoming repetitive, I think the writing, graphics, movement and general speed of everything on offer here will keep pulling players through, especially those who pine for those simpler days of 3D platforming during the early 2000s. It's also worth mentioning that Gori Cuddly Carnage is only going to set you back £16, or $20 in the US when it releases on the 27th of August this year. And for collectors there will be limited release physical copies across all formats as far as I can tell. Overall, I'd say this is one for older arcade fans to keep their eye on. There's a demo available now on all the consoles and PC, so do check it out if you get the chance. In the meantime, let me know what you think. Is this one you were watching? Are you more a dog person? Leave me a like if you have a second, and please have a shit in someone else's comments section. I'll be back with more news, reviews and recommendations very soon. Cheers for now.